Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu. Pakhair ragale. Ni hao. Chunashumme. Washmale. Ohio Gonzaimus. Guten Morgen. Hi hugs. Hellos. Hola. Bonjour. And ciao. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World and watching World this morning alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shazad Khan. Hello, Maha. How are you?
I'm very good. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm good today. And you know what I realized is that
What?
you add a hello every time I'm not here. So I think I need to watch out how many times I'm not here.
Because yesterday what happened that we had a gentleman from Italy.
Yes.
So I asked him that, how do you greet each other in Italian? So he said ciao. So I was like, all right, that's another
Excellent.
addition.
Well
So
done.
whoever comes, I think that's going to be an addition. And since
Exactly.
we're going out in 46 different countries, so you know what? I mean, I still do not know 46 hellos
Oh, no,
and
listen,
hi's.
no one's saying don't learn them. Like, say it. Like, there's no problem. I'm just saying it just keeps getting longer
Yeah,
and longer.
but
Like I
imagine-
said, one day we'll have one whole segment on hellos.
Yeah, but imagine that, if I start saying 46 hellos in the morning, I think it's going
There's
to
no
take another
show.
10 minutes.
Yeah, there's no show.
So, yeah, I still want to do the show because I love all those people who give us their positive and
Exactly.
very valuable feedback as well. But what are we doing today?
We have a very interesting show, but let's start with our top stories and then get the show started.
Exactly. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi has said Pakistan wants a continued engagement with regional and international powers based on mutual respect, equality and partnership.
Former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has said people acknowledge the development work undertaken by the PMLN government.
Human Rights Watch has said Myanmar government is committing crimes against humanity in its campaign against the Muslim minority in Rakhine state.
And a post office sorting depot in heart of Paris has turned its rooftop into a farm for staff who can grow their own crops and breed chickens.
Wow,
That's
own crops.
interesting.
What's the point then? If you have to bring your own crops.
No, they grow their own
Yeah.
crops. They're growing them.
88 years old Japanese avant-garde artist Yayoi Kasuma still fills her days painting and has no intention of slowing down. Wow.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And finally, the first cricket test of two match series between Pakistan and Sri Lanka will start tomorrow in Abu Dhabi, UAE.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously it's time for a public service message, and Maha will do the honors.
I
So
will.
let's take
Today,
a listen.
it's my turn. All right, guys. I really like road-related and weather-related.
Yeah, that's what
public
I did
service messages.
yesterday as well.
Which ones did you do yesterday?
So yesterday what I did was that, because over here what happens is that there are people who leave their homes earlier because they really do not want to end up arguing with their wives.
Okay.
So what they do is that they drive slow in the fast lane and then drive fast in
Okay.
the slower lane.
Okay.
So the ones who really want to, who are actually in a hurry, they just have to be there just because of the fact that the other guy's not
Oh,
moving.
okay, I don't. I make sure that they move out the way, or I undertake them. Anyway, no, mine is actually related to the weather, so it is very important. The seasons are changing, and this is the time where the viruses and the flu and everything is rife. So please be careful when you are, either putting on a fan or an air conditioner, the way you're dressing, because the chill goes straight to the bone. So the weather's changing. Keep an eye out, especially if you have children, because you do not want to get sick.
Exactly. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was our public service message. But today it's 27th of September, and it is a very important day. Which day is it?
It is World Tourism Day, and we are observing it. We are going to see what the situation in Pakistan is.
And this year's theme, ladies and gentlemen, is...
It is?
Yes.
Sustainable tourism. I knew it. We were talking about it. But I didn't expect you to
It's
throw it on me.
perfectly all right. So this year, ladies and gentlemen, it's about sustainable tourism, and
Yes.
it's because of the fact that it is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, which definitely we have to be there by 2030 as well. But it is because of the fact that it is in line with the tool which is known as development. Now, what happens is that, last year, 1.2 billion people
Yes.
crossed the borders. Now, imagine that these figures are going to go up to 1.8 billion. So that means that it is 1.8 billion opportunities roaming around.
Oh, and exactly. And, you know, a lot of countries, their economy is actually surviving and thriving because of tourism. So we're going to be discussing where are we in regards to obtaining these goals? Will we achieve these goals which we set for 2030? And also going forward, what can Pakistan do?
Exactly. And, you know, if I try to, you know, take some names of the countries whose economy is actually relying on tourism, I think the first country which comes to my head is Thailand.
Yep.
Do you know any?
No,
Turkey.
because there's a few, and they're all slip my mind
And
because
then
you're throwing it on me.
even in Europe,
There's
there are quite a lot
few,
of countries
absolutely.
as well.
But let's go take a look, and then Shazad can continue his testing after the video.
I can say that Pakistan was love at first sight. I've seen many places, as I said, in my life, but I think here you can see the most beautiful mountains and the most beautiful scenery really in the world.
Very happy here. People welcome us, say hello, smile to us. So yeah, we are very happy to be in Pakistan.
Many people, they were surprised when they saw pictures from Pakistan, from North Pakistan. They were surprised. Wow, they have 8,000-meter high peaks. Wow, such a nice culture. So many different ethnic, so many different history of the tribes.
People are incredibly friendly. Everyone's been very welcoming.
You have one of the most beautiful mountain countries in the world, and I love the Pakistan people. They're so friendly.
We have driven through the Hindu Kush to get to Gilgit, and it's fantastic scenery with the mountains and the rivers. It's what I would call awe-inspiring.
Before I came to Pakistan, a lot of people said, oh, you know, it's scary and you have to be careful. But I'm going to take back and I'm going to say that Pakistan's a marvellous place to visit and they should visit it as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small video of all of those people who've been actually traveling to Pakistan from across the borders, and this is what they had to say. It was definitely very positive, and it was just on theme, which is sustainable tourism.
Why don't you sustainable development? I want to say development.
All right, and then there's one more thing which I want to say, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you travel, please make sure that you respect the host, you respect the culture, and you respect the people over there as well. Please make sure that you do that and respect nature.
Exactly, that was the last thing, is like, because one of the biggest problems we have, which we'll be discussing as well, is the littering and the way we're treating our tourist spots. So let's introduce our guests. We've got some wonderful guests in the studio to discuss this very important day.
Exactly. So on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have got ex-board member, Northern Areas Tourism Board, ex-president, Pakistan Association of Tour Operators, member board of directors, PTDC, none other than Mr. Irfanullah Beg. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you? Happy Tourism Day.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much. Happy Tourism Day.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And alongside Mr. Irfanullah Beg, we have been joined by somebody who's a development consultant, who's an educationist, he's a media practitioner. He's none other than Dr. Shoaib Ahmed. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Hello, assalamu alaikum ji. Wa alaikum assalam. And thank you very much for inviting me in this wonderful show and in the company of these wonderful individuals.
Thank you so much for being here.
This was very flattering early in the morning. And last but not the least, we have got
great energy.
Last but not the least, we've got a very young gentleman. He's wearing a good pair of shoes, and you know, since I've got a great following for shoes as well.
Yes,
so
he does.
It's perfectly all right. He's the Deputy General Manager at PC Rawalpindi, worked in London and managed hotels abroad for past 10 years. Recently moved back to Pakistan. We'll definitely ask the reason. He's none other than Mr. Fawad Salim. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm very good, thank you.
Thank you for
very much.
joining
So
us.
the next time I'm coming to your hotel, I'm getting a discount, right?
Okay.
Tourism Day.
We will talk about that later, so let's focus on the day. So let's start with the importance of why in Pakistan we need to be aware of World Tourism Day and tourism in general.
Well, thank you very much, Maha, for inviting me here. Since I have spent a good number of years of my life with this industry, and I know a bit of the problems as well as the shiny days of the tourism.
Yes.
The sustainable tourism is certainly a strong pillar of the development of tourism in one country. Before 9/11, obviously, we witnessed the fruits of this sustainable tourism, but after that shock, until now, we are trying to recover out of it.
Okay.
Sustainable tourism requires, actually it is based on 3 pillars, you know.
Okay.
The nature, then obviously environment, when I say nature, that means our rivers, our red deserts, our mountains, and then buildings there, the ancient buildings, historical buildings, that must be preserved for our future generations. And then obviously involvement of the local people, and the benefits should straight go to them as well.
Okay.
They should have a share of the tourism. And then last but the most important thing is the money. And we must think of creating opportunities to involve the local people by helping them, you know, financially. That may develop and strong the idea of sustainability of the tourism.
We'll definitely indulge into it further deeper as well, but let's take a view of all of those other people who are with us today as well. How would you love to highlight the importance of this day? And other than this day, because, you know, obviously when we celebrate today, it is about the ripple effect. So we create a ripple effect and it keeps on coming back. Well, definitely it does not come back to haunt you, but since it's tourism, so it's all about enjoying. How would you highlight the importance?
Shahzad, basically when we say we are celebrating any important day or the meaning of having one exclusive or special day for any particular thing, the objective is just to sensitize the masses. What we basically intend to do or what we intentionally basically grasp out of it. So when we say the word tourism day, it means we'll have to see how tourism is basically contributing towards the different dimension of our lives. Because as you said in your intro, 1.2 billion people are moving around the world. But unfortunately, our part of this whole, you can say our contribution is very less. I mean, we are not getting these internationally tourists in our own country. But on the other hand, if we just look at the number of people moving within our country, they are somewhere around 50 to 80 million people are moving in different parts of our country. So it means if we just focus or we make sure or we sensitize our individuals about this, we can be able to get another very big industry, because tourism is the 3rd largest industry after chemicals and fuels.
No, but you might be very right by saying that, you know, 50 to 60 million people roam around within the country, but half of them might be refugees as well. So, you know, we cannot relate them, or probably we cannot say that, you know, they are tourists, because tourism industry does not really work alongside refugees, right?
No, these are not the refugees.
Okay.
These are not the refugees. The data of refugees is
separate,
something different.
Okay.
I am just talking about the individuals, those who are moving for tourist purposes activities. We have the general
within the country.
Within the country.
And this is why we're having this show, because actually the local tourism within Pakistan, as you're absolutely right, is actually it's huge. It's bigger than the international tourism we have. So let's move on to you, Fawad. How do you feel about this day?
See, to be quite honest, I mean, World Tourism Day, in the end, I mean, it's a very nice thing to happen in Pakistan. Now we're all, you know, in the end, celebrating it somehow, you know. What I believe personally, you know, since the international travel has gone so low in Pakistan, then again, if you see the other side of it, you see there is internal kind of, you know, tourism which has gone so high. I mean, I was looking at figures yesterday, it was about 80 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Which happened last year, you know. So you can imagine how much people are now traveling within Pakistan. Whereas, you know, before it wasn't the case.
So now, moving on, so let's highlight on this day, what are the important things that we need to sensitize the masses? So we'll start with you, Sir.
Mr. Irfan.
Mr. Irfan.
Well, I must say that PTV has taken the lead by telling that today is the World Tourism Day.
Okay.
Thank you for it as well. There are about over 100 channels in this country. And I see no channel is telling the masses that what is tourism and what is a tourism day. Basically, it started back in 1980. You know, you decided to celebrate this.
I was 3 years old.
Yeah, you must have been very young by then, certainly. And since then, only a little of work has been done to sensitize the people, the masses. It is the only private sector who is actually doing a lot for the development of the tourism in this country. As I said before 9/11, we used to have thousands and thousands of international tourists roaming around. Just before the talk started, I was talking to the gentleman here, Mr. Fawad, that this used to be the month when we were not getting rooms at his place at Pearl Continental or wherever else. But today, you know, unfortunately, after the amendment, 18th Amendment, the most sufferer was the tourism sector, as it is the only country in the world that there is no, federal has no tourism subject. I mean, it is all went into the hands of provincial setups.
Okay, so now there's a very important aspect that I'd like to pick up on, and I'll move on to Dr. Shoaib and then come back. Not having this at a level, at a federal level, for the people living in the country, what are the repercussions? What are the consequences of that? And how can we make them realize that this is something that needs to be taken at a universal, in a national level?
See, the most important component of devising or distributing your responsibility is to ensure that the quality of work would be enhanced.
Right.
I personally was in favor of this 18th Amendment that by devolving powers you can be able to get good out of it. But unfortunately what we observed on other hand, the things moving are in, I mean, you can say these are, the things are going out of hand.
Right.
Now the important thing is that everybody has to, we have a tendency to creep against certain things, and on the other hand we are not letting the candlelight on our side. So what we need to do is to,
and that's what this show is for. What can we do on our side?
Yes, this is exactly. Now everybody has to take or to feel his or her own responsibility. See, I've been particularly working on this, the integration of this tourism and development, how we can be able to get all these three dimensions, mean environmental, economic, social, how we can be able to enhance these three components of tourism with the help of tourism. And on one hand, if we need to develop the lives or the betterment of the livelihoods of the individual of Pakistan or the people of Pakistan, what we need to do is to play our own part.
Okay, yes.
See, if you just look at around, in the other parts of the country, people are contributing from their side. They on one hand they are expecting to get something out of the government box, but on the other hand they usually usually contribute from their side. They usually develop their own sites.
And we've got some amazing visuals as well, which you can probably see on the monitor. So for all those people who've heard about Pakistan for the very first time, these are for you. These are the beautiful places you can visit over here.
Yes. Indeed, from the towering mountains of Himalayas and the shores of Arabian Sea, you can find every single thing in this beautiful country. But this is the most, what we need to do is, and later part we got a chance to discuss the role of social media in enhancing this tourism in our country.
And we'll talk about all of that.
Important.
Yeah, but there's one more thing which I want to discuss, and that is that, since you very correctly mentioned that we need to probably raise the standard or maintain it, right? But now what happens is that when you raise the standard, the cost goes up. When the cost goes up for everybody who's traveling from an international border or from somewhere else, from outside the country, I think it gets difficult for them to pick and choose again and again. Because I still remember when for the very last time I went to Thailand, I think, I'm sorry that I keep on mentioning, but it is a very cheap place to go visit and have fun, whatever you want to do. is because of the fact that they have maintained the standards but with the lowest cost. Now, how do you think that we can do that? Because over here, wherever you go, people just keep on asking for every single penny you have in your pocket.
See, again, there needs to be a lot of controls.
Where are they?
The controls are not there.
Okay.
Again, now, as you know, Irfan Saab said that there need to be controls, but at the same time, people need to chip in from their end too.
Yeah.
So everybody is trying to grab their share, and everybody wants more and more and more. You know, there is no stop to it.
Yeah.
So in the end, if we all start to chip in, you know, I'm sure we will get somewhere.
So we know that. Okay, now let's move on to Irfan Saab. And then, what do you feel about the question that I posed earlier? So how do we get people to realize that this is, you know, something that needs to be done on a national level?
And this is our own agenda.
Yeah, and it's in our own benefit.
Well, I would definitely like to quote the best example of the present times. The Chief Minister of Gilgit-Baltistan, I have no affiliation with any party, let me clear it.
Thank you for saying it.
I'm a professional. The Chief Minister of Gilgit-Baltistan, Hafiz Hafizur Rahman, his tireless efforts now seen in the form of over 1.1 million, 1.2 billion tourists in Gilgit-Baltistan. This is him. Actually, I really personally so inspired from his doings for the tourism. It should be not limited to a province like Gilgit-Baltistan. It should be all over the country. And I request all those power corridors who can bring a pleasant change, you know. They must relax some policies, like to attract international tourists. I don't call tourists when you say 110, 115 people coming to Pakistan from abroad. They are not the tourists. They are the foreigners visiting their families, their friends in the country, the business people. The actual number of tourists, I'm afraid, are less than 10,000. You know, and these are because the little numbers are because of the strong policies we have presently in the country.
Okay.
I personally feel that if a visa process is bit relaxed, if they form a board or an authority in the federal corridors, that will bring certainly a pleasant change.
Yeah, we definitely have to go for a break, but there's one more thing which I'm sorry that I keep on saying that one more thing, and it always comes to my head, and that is, can we just differentiate in between a tourist and a visitor as well? Because for somebody who's visiting from Karachi to the north of Pakistan is definitely not a tourist, or
no, he's a tourist.
That's
he's
a
domestic tourist. You see?
Domestic tourist.
We must, like, you know, we don't have a slogan for this country, tourism slogan, like in our enemy country India has, you know. We must follow those small countries like
they've
Nepal.
cashed in on the tourism, and because that's the thing, it's about value. Like what we're just discussing right now, is that people aren't even aware about domestic tourism. People think that doesn't count, but it very much does. So we're going to go for a short break, and when you come back, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about, you know, the corridors, but how the media is also playing a vital role in the amount of footfall we're getting in the country. Stay tuned.
And then there's one more point which I would love to highlight, and that is that after 2000, we have seen that, you know, since we have been fighting a war against terror as well, so it has affected us very.
Yes.
It has worsened the condition, but now I think we are getting better. Are we? Well, that's the question. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. And as you can see, we are observing World Tourism Day, and in the background, we have some beautiful shots of the magic in Pakistan. So now, there's multiple aspects that we need to cover, and there's some very interesting points. So Shahzad mentioned one about terrorism, and so you can pose your question.
Yeah, all right. So my question is for all three of you. And that is that after terrorism, we have been combating terrorism, and things definitely got worsened. And then there was an international agenda of defaming Pakistan globally. So how do you think that the nation is actually combating with that, first of all? And then do you think that we are actually on a road towards where we are talking about that tourism is actually a tool for development?
Pakistan is a blessed country. We have everything here. You know, the only thing we are lacking in the international touristic markets is a good name after the 9/11 scenario, after the terror penetration in this country. But I must say that the military has kicked out all those evils from this country, and we are living in a safe destination. We only need is a good name now. We need a soft imagining in the international markets, and that can be done through print media, electronic media, social media, and by the relevant authorities sitting in the government.
Okay.
Amazing. So what's your take?
My point of view is that we have improved a lot, alhamdulillah. With the passage of time, the situation is now radically changed. I mean, after the successful completion of Operation Zarb-e-Azab and then Operation Raddul Fasad, and fortunately we have gone through this Khyber 4 right now. So, alhamdulillah, after Swat operation, we have a very different scenario of Swat. The point I definitely second Irfan Sahab. The point is that we need to develop the soft image of Pakistan, and in that scenario, we'll have to contribute. Every single individual of this country has to contribute into it. I'll just refer you a quick point. I mean, we were in Malaysia on a government tour, and the person who has invited us and the way he introduced, that lady introduced Malaysia, she said, we are a nation of 4 different religions living in peace and harmony. So that's how we need to develop it, and every single individual has to contribute it. And last but not least is the role of media. The negligence, the way they are giving their most of the time to the non-developmental issues and those things which are very essential to build the image, soft image of Pakistan. Our role of media is very important in this particular
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was another aspect I wanted to bring in. But before I bring that in, Fawad, what do you have to say about this?
I think it's pretty same, you know, it's the media, I'd suggest. In the end, you know, everybody's watching TV. Again, as we said initially, 48 countries is just watching PTV World. Imagine what other channels are showing, CNN, BBC, everybody is showing, you know, about Pakistan. So what we are showing on those televisions, what we are showing on social media, then you have got other, you know, programs like...
No matter what we show or depict on social media or on our media channels as well, but as a matter of fact, because if there's a demand, then there's a supply. Why do you think that there are new hotels being opened in Gwadar and elsewhere in the northern areas? Obviously, people are coming in, so the ground reality is different.
Okay, yeah. Now, this is the thing. Now, this is...
Yeah, he wants to say something.
I must add one point there, that coming up of the hotels, new buildings is not because of the tourism. It's connected to CPEC probably.
No, but that can obviously be Gwadar, but not in the northern areas, right?
Well, as I said, there is a difference between tourist and a businessman.
Okay, absolutely. And I think, you know, yeah, we are really focusing on the business aspect, but we have to realize that tourism is also a business which can generate more business as well.
Okay. CPEC would encourage tourism.
Yeah, okay. It helps with the softening of the image.
That's what we are saying, that tourism is a tool for development.
Actually, I feel that we have such a beautiful and strong country, our friend China, where a lot of potential is there for tourism. Again, we must ease the travel procedures.
Okay, so now this is what I want to talk about. So we're talking about domestic tourism and we're talking about international tourism. Now with, so as we mentioned already, the role of the media and how we need to now create the soft image. But because it's been over, I mean, it's been a very long time. We're in 2017 now. We've been in
We'll
this.
be in 2018 in
And, you know, and those media outlets that are, you know, constantly breaking out. Now, the thing is, there's always a balance in any industry. You focus on the non-development and issues that are not being worked on, but you also highlight the positive things.
Image of it.
Now, because we have not been doing that for over a decade, even in my head, I've lived here for 4 years. Even in my head, even now, I have reservations because of all the images. I've been to Swat recently, but even my family who live abroad, they're still like, no, Swat is not safe. So now these images, even if you go there, they're still there. How do we break that if we're going to achieve our SDGs and make tourism?
Because it's more of a stereotype now.
Yeah. It's an inbuilt, it's inbuilt. The counter narrative is not strong enough. So Fawad, and then we'll move on to Dr. Shoaib.
What I would think is, you know, what we show on the television. Again, a lot of people see TV. Then I'll give you a simple example. Like you said, you know, going to Swat, you have reservations. Every other parent would have the same for their children. So somebody is traveling to Swat. Why are you going to Swat? Why don't you go to Bangkok? Why would they feel, you know, much
but
more?
If you tell your parents that you're going to Bangkok, they might probably not even let you go.
They'll probably let you go to London or somewhere. You know? But in general, you know, what we are showing, then again, we need to start focusing on you know, our televisions and what we are showing. Plus in the newspapers, you know, we need to start focusing on tourism side as well, you know, that what are the developments happening in those areas, rather than people physically going there and finding out, then coming back.
And sharing on social media.
Sharing, then of course, then it starts to build, okay, now we will go. I'll give you just an example. Like, few of my friends, they came up with a company. They now start taking tours to different countries, plus they do it within the country as well. And more people started to go after people come back and then say, you know, you should go there, it was good.
So word of mouth.
Yeah, it's more word of mouth than, you know.
Okay, Dr. Shoaib.
See, what my personal perspective in this regard is, what we need to do is to start this work in bits and pieces. See, one role is to be given to the media, but on the other hand, what we need to do is to start it at our local level. I mean, all local administrations, they have been assigned to project or to depict their sites, to select these sites and make most comfortable environment or conducive environment for the people, those who are coming to that area, number one. Then the role of institutions, that is very important. I mean, the students and universities who are giving specific assignments regarding promoting their own region. We have universities across the Pakistan. I mean, starting from Gilgit-Baltistan till the shores of Arabian Sea. We have universities, we have the institutions of higher education. Their role is very important. The students have been given assignments to project their area on social media or on other forums. So in that way, we can be able to develop a counter narrative. See, the important thing is that we need to develop a counter narrative in every single walk of life. It is not the question that we are countering the terrorism only. These terrorism is directly linked to rest of the components of.
And I'm glad you said it. But now within this, with the social media, with the media, and creating a counter narrative, as we mentioned during the break, that within Pakistan we have 3 religious sites.
Yes, yes.
3 religious. So now, you know, focusing on that as well. Like, I mean, I knew there was 1 or 2. I didn't know there was 3.
I'll give you one of the examples. 2 very important examples. This the Hajj season is just off, and you know the amount of wealth this Saudi Arabia, the KSA has driven through this whole activity. I mean, this is one of the most important area in our particular region.
They've got oil too, though.
Although this is one of the components, but this, as I've told you earlier, in development, after fuel, fuel, chemicals, this is the 3rd largest industries. It's been declared fact.
So then why aren't we focusing on our religious sites?
Now we have the Butmat site over here in Pakistan. We have the one of a few very important shrines or the areas which are directly related to the Sikh Mat. And see, the Sikhs are a very, very big and large community around the world.
And amazing people.
And amazing people, lovely people. They don't have any affiliation with any other thing. So we can promote them, we can provide them conducive environment over here, and they own us like anything else. I mean, if you just just visit abroad and just pop into any of the 6 shop and just start talking in Punjabi, the way they owned you, like
Now I'm going to share an example over here. Okay, since we are talking about religious sites as well, so ladies and gentlemen, last year I had a chance to visit Nankana Sahib, you know, where one of the biggest shrine is. There's one main road in the entire city.
Yeah, look at this.
And there's one hotel where you find it very decent to live as well. And how do you think that we are even promoting tourism?
This is what I'm saying.
I think that's a question
well,
for
actually,
you.
in Nankana Sahib, PTDC has tried to build a motel. But again, you know, some legal aspects are there, and
so there's a lot of hurdles.
There are hurdles. They need to be removed.
Okay, so how do we make our country tourist friendly?
Well,
let's talk about that.
As Dr. Saab said, you know, we have everything to show for the world. It is the only country in the world where you have 4 seasons. You have a sea, you have desert, you have coastal area, a very long coastal area. You have history of from 6th century BC to until today, and we have all those religions like Buddhism flourished in this country. Taxila is their hub of religious, you know, Kaaba, yeah, and Swat. We have all those, you know, Ashoka the Great himself built a stupa in Taxila.
So
there can be an attraction.
Having all the pillars of tourism, why are we lacking to promote it?
Well, honestly speaking, sir, if you want me to be honest,
not too honest,
lack of policies.
Okay, lack of policies.
I mean, I'd definitely second Mr. Irfan, because I've got quite a few friends who are Sikh in London. I've stayed there for 12 years. And believe me, what they say, their families, their parents, they always wanted to come and visit Pakistan.
They're dying to come Pakistan.
They're dying, but again, we were joking about it this morning that instead of, you know, I want to go and visit, for example, you go to Umrah, you don't have to give a CV. You just give your passport. You know why you're going there. You go there and you come
Everybody
back.
knows
We were having a joke this morning that when you have to come to Pakistan, you have to physically give a CV rather than just.
So you made it more difficult than we have. We suffer when we're going on up.
It's very hard to get out.
You don't get visa for Pakistan.
No, but it was essential. I think that the time we were going through it was essential for us, because, you know, you earlier said that, you know, back in the day, September was the month where it was very hard for us to even book a room, right?
Absolutely.
So we got through those situations. We fought with the menace of terrorism as well.
Exactly.
And we did it very well. But a few more things which I think will work, and that is that, since you mentioned about PTDC, now PTDC, I still remember when I was a kid, you know, wherever we used to go, since my father was a bureaucrat too, so, you know, we could get a booking at PTDC, and it was a lovely place to live. No matter where you go in Pakistan,
can still do it, sir.
You will always get a PTDC motel. Now, these institutions are definitely there to probably favor tourism, all right?
Right.
So now, what happened with these institutions? Why aren't they working very well?
Very valid question. PTDC is still active.
Okay.
The problem is PTDC has no umbrella in the federal. Since it's a federal entity, there are properties owned by PTDC in all provinces, including Gilgit-Baltistan, and we are trying to do a venture in Azad Jammu Kashmir.
Great.
You know. As I'll again repeat the same thing, that the government must have a tourism office at federal level, whether it is a board or an authority. You know, without having a door to where decisions are made, how can you improve your status? PTDC, as you mentioned about those motels, they are still there. They are making more even. They have constructed even more. They have purchased places. They have been given places to build more of those PTDC motels. But a question again rests that there are no policies are being made at federal level.
Okay.
Only the managing director of the PTDC and the board is trying to work out to improve the conditions of PTDC. PTDC means Tourism Development Corporation. You know, it's not only for the motels. So overall, the international events are being ignored. We must go there. PTDC is the umbrella where they can represent Pakistan. And
but if it is even PTDC, if it's Pakistan Tourism Development Corporation, right? Why don't we have an office at a federal level? Because it's Pakistan Tourism.
This is my question. Well, they have an office, but where to report?
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay, Dr. Shoaib.
What I would add here, I mean, again, the technical issues has already been covered by Irfan Sab. Now, my point is that we had only one large-scale national campaign of tourism was held in 2007.
Okay.
For the last 10 years, we don't have any. Now, what I wish and what I would pray, and with the help of this lovely show, what we would request to the authorities today, that they should launch or they should declare 2018 as a...
Who is the authority?
I mean, those who are listening us, those who are watching us.
Let me clear one thing, that tourism, there are tourism offices. I mean, the powers are given to some offices, and that is Gilgit-Baltistan Council for Adventure Activities, and the rest is under the Cabinet Division. It should be one office, whether it should be Cabinet or Gilgit-Baltistan Council.
Okay, yes.
Now, what they should do is they should celebrate 2018. Alhamdulillah, we have, as I've told you earlier, and the world is watching us because almost in so many languages, Shahzad has welcomed everybody in our show. So, my message or my point of view is that we should celebrate, we should declare 2018 as a tourist year for Pakistan, and every single individual has been tasked. As the Chief of Army Staff, and when he said that every individual has to be a part of Operation Raddul Fasad, so this is one of the best part, that we should develop a counter narrative by giving our soft image and declaring 2018 as a national year of the promotion of tourism or a campaign for Pakistan.
I like this idea.
But 2017 was definitely an international year in terms of tourism as well.
So we can have in our own year next year, and we can develop it, and we can give a slogan for that, like the Malaysia, they said the truly Asia. Why not the truly safe country, or whatever we can have? I mean, we can
competition for the theme for the year. And Fawad, what would you like to add finally?
Pakistan, heaven on earth.
I think it's pretty
yes,
same.
it is
Like
civilization.
the two gentlemen said, you know.
Sorry, I didn't hear that
I
one.
said it's pretty same, you know, in terms of what the two
Every
gentlemen
answer you've
said.
given, you said pretty same.
And then what I'll add to it is see, for example, we were talking about PTDC, we were talking about all these, you know, issues we have, and we're not able to, you know, there's no control and checks. Then I would talk about from the private sector side, you know. Let's talk about hotels, okay. You would hear there is a hotel coming up in Islamabad, there's a hotel coming up in Rawalpindi, Lahore, and all sorts. Then the building starts to build, you know, and you're seeing this beautiful building coming up, and all of a sudden it stops. You know, so then going back to the point where Irfan Sahab said, who do you go to? You know, and then all of a sudden it changes into apartments, and that's it, gone.
But you definitely know who you have to go to.
You know, that's where I think that's where we need to find out, or somebody needs to come up with an office and say, you know, such kind of legal issues, such kind of matters needs to be addressed here, and these are the people who will help you sorting that out. But that's not the case. That's not there at the moment.
Okay. And finally, yes.
Yeah, even in difficult times of tourism and PTDC particularly, let me tell you that we are celebrating the World Tourism Day today in Rawalpindi at Fleshman's Hotel.
Wonderful, that's great. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
If I add one line, closing line for this. See, what I usually, the way I usually ended up my lectures is Pakistan is one of the greatest blessing for all of us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever we have today, it's all because of Pakistan. Otherwise, we would have had nothing. So please be sincere to this lovely country.
Absolutely. Exactly. Thank you so much for your time and being here on an important day. And at the end of the day, you know, within our, you know, once we ourselves respect and look after our country, then only other people will come and respect it. Because even with the domestic tourism, I've seen the trash. So it's all about looking after what you have and then promoting it.
And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, word of mouth is the strongest marketing tool ever to be said and to be known in the world. So whenever you're traveling, please make sure that you talk good about your country. And obviously, it has given you quite a lot of good things to do as well.
Exactly. So with that, log on to our Facebook fan page.
Which is with the name of World This Morning.
Twitter page.
World This Morning.
And without a G.
Yeah, obviously, and that's why I said morning.
Okay, and YouTube and Daily Motion page.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is at
11 p.m.
Have a wonderful day, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3. Good morning.